Probate. How long does it really take? It's one of the most common questions people ask. In this video, I'm going to cover how long the probate application process takes and also how long it takes to administer the estate as a whole. So let's start with the probate application. Well, we can't, because before that, we need to talk about what you need to do to prepare for that application. A lot of that form is about what's in the estate. So what are the assets, but also what are the liabilities? Before you can do that application, you need to find out what the values are. So that's going to be getting a valuation on the property, going to the banks and financial institutions and finding out what the values of those assets were at the date of death. Likewise, for any liabilities, that's debt. So things like credit cards or loans or car finance agreements, all of those need to be known so they go onto the application at the funeral cost as well. So that process is going to take, well, depends how quickly you can work, but it could be a couple of weeks, could be a few months. But once you've got that information, you can apply for the grant of probate. So once you've filled out those forms or you've got your solicitor to do that, they're going to go off to the probate court. Now, typically at the moment, it's 2026 now, it's taking about 2 to 3 months for an application to be processed. It can come through a lot faster. There isn't any known way in which some are faster and some are slower, other than for complex estates that need the IHD 400 inheritance tax forms to be separately sent to the to HMRC. Now, for most estates, they don't need that, so you're looking at that 2 to 3 month time frame. If you do need to have those inheritance tax forms submitted, then that's going to add on another, say, 4 to 6 weeks to the process. And once you've got that certificate, that's a piece of paper that the probate registry are going to send to you. If I've said probate court, by the way, probate registry, probate court, same thing. They're going to send to you, and that's giving you the legal authority to deal with the estate. So you're going to present that to any bank that have asked to see it. You're going to use it if there's a property to be sold or transferred. Now, when it comes down to closing bank accounts, collecting money from investment institutions, so that's going to take, in some situations, it will be a few weeks. Sometimes it can take a few months, depending on their processes. If there's any back and forth, or if forms haven't been filled out correctly, that can delay things slightly. Typically, the longest element is property. Now, if you're selling a property, as you probably well know, that's a long process, and it depends on the market. It depends on accepting offers, etc. So that can, in a best case scenario, take just 2 or 3 months, but it can drag on for a year. It can drag on for longer. So that's typically the longest process. Once the assets have been collected in and the liabilities have been settled, so that's paying off credit cards, etc., utility bills, then you're in a position where the estate can be distributed. There are some watch outs, and certainly don't take this as legal advice, because it's not. But there are some safeguards you might want to put in place, which is going to extend the process. So, for example, making sure there aren't any claims on the estate, for example, from the Department of Work and Pension, or any other creditors to the estate. So you might want to delay things just to make sure that there's no further claims on the estate. But once you're in a position to distribute to the beneficiaries, that process can happen, and you're going to do that within a period of a few weeks. So overall, the typical time frame that people talk about is 9 to 12 months. But certainly I've seen entire estates dealt with a little bit faster than that, and sometimes they take considerably longer. Some sadly drag on for years, where there are some contentious elements, but in most scenarios, you're typically looking at about the year time frame. Now, if you are going through this process, or you're about to go through the process, and you've got questions or you need any practical help, we've got some guides that can walk you through it, and there'll be a discount code in the description below. If you want to talk to somebody, you can, or if you want to speak with a solicitor, we can certainly put you in touch with one. Wherever you are in the process, I do wish you well, and you can visit probatesporthub.co.uk for more information.